This video describes a process that you might find useful in helping you decide on your first home defense pistol. Hey everybody, think like a free man. I'm going to try to make a very complex subject a lot simpler than it really is. For the assumptions of this video, and what it is, it's a recommendation on your first home defense pistol. For the assumptions of this video, it is for home defense, and it's not going to be a shotgun or a rifle, although a shotgun and a rifle make excellent choices. That's subject for another video. This is not for concealed carry, and this is not for hunting. So before we get into the meat of this, and before you even get started, make sure you get legal advice based on where you live. State laws vary widely. You got to get advice on how you can purchase it, how you can transport it, and how you can use it legally based on where you live. And you need professional advice for that. You got to, and I would say if you've never gone shooting, before you go, find someone that knows what they're doing and go with them. You can go to gun shops, look up on the NRA, concealed carry organizations. They can get you in the right direction. All those guys, and don't be afraid to go to a gun shop and just start asking questions. The people there are super knowledgeable and they love to help. And whatever you end up getting, read the instructions, thoroughly understand them, and take a safety class. The responsibility for being legally and safe is up to you. Okay, so the logic that I'm going to take us through is to start with the decision of whether you want a revolver or a semi-auto, what caliber you want, what make and model, and just a few other considerations. So we're going to start with revolver or semi-auto. Revolvers typically hold 6 to 7 rounds in a chamber. They're very hard to reload quickly, but they are very simple to use. Semi-automatics, those are cartridges that fit in a magazine. The magazine goes put into the pistol, hold a lot more ammunition, and can reload very quickly. A little more complicated to use, but they're very reliable. I personally prefer a semi-auto. With a little bit of training, one can become very proficient with a semi-automatic. So in terms of calibers, if you do decide to go with a semi-automatic, 9mm, 40 Smith & Wesson, and 45 ACP are the typical calibers for a semi-auto. That's what most police departments, military use. There's a zillion other rounds. 380s are okay. Some people say they're a little weak, better than nothing. There's other cartridges like 357 SIG, and the list just goes on. But 9mm, 40 or 45 are the best. And it's 45 ACP, not 45 long Colt. It makes a difference when you say 40 Smith & Wesson, 45 ACP, or 9mm. I personally like 9mm the best. I've owned, fired 9s, 45s, 40s. The reality of it is, and based on the research I've done, 9mm with modern cartridges seem to have the same ballistic effects as a 40 or 45, but with a 9mm you have less kick, you got more rounds per chamber, per magazine. The ammo's a lot cheaper. They're easier to fire and come back onto target with. Women tend to like them better, so they're easy for your wife or your girlfriend or your daughter to use. Now, if you do choose to go a revolver, 357 Magnum / .38 Special is the most common caliber. Again, lots of different choices there, lots of different good choices. The 357 Magnum is the most common. Now, it's a little confusing when I say 357 and 38 Special. You can shoot 38 Specials out of a 357 Magnum. You cannot safely shoot 357 Magnums out of a 38 Special. But if you had a 38 Special revolver, I'm sure you'd be fine with it. Just don't shoot 357 Magnums. So I would recommend, if you do want a revolver, a 357 Magnum is fine, and you can also shoot 38s out of it. So if you did choose a revolver, even though I prefer Smith or semi-autos, and you did choose a revolver, Smith & Wesson and Ruger are by far, in my opinion, the leaders in the revolver area. There's other decent manufacturers, Taurus, Rossi, Charter Arms, and my apologies for missing many other good guys, make good ones, but you can't go wrong with Smith & Wesson and Ruger. Again, 357 was the caliber choice that I would suggest to go if you do choose a revolver. So many models to list, even just with Smith & Wesson and Ruger. But to make it simple, again, this is for home defense, not for concealed carry. GP100 or an SP100 for a Ruger, and a Model 586 or the stainless steel version, which is a 686, or Model 27 if you go Smith & Wesson. I don't see how you could go wrong with those. So I'm going to switch back to semi-autos. Going through the logic tree there. Again, oh boy, there's even more manufacturers here. There's tons of great manufacturers with semi-autos. My top preferences are Glock, Smith & Wesson, Springfield Armory, or FNH. They're all premier pistols, and if you look at what police departments are using, what a lot of military are using, just popular in the firearm enthusiast circles, those pistols are certainly there. But Ruger, Beretta, CZ, Colt, Remington, Taurus, and my apologies for missing many others, all make excellent weapons. There's also people like SIG Arms, SIG, Heckler and Koch. They make fine weapons. I think they're a little overpriced, and you can get the Glock, the Smith & Wesson, something like that, easily for a very good pistol for a lot less money. You can even go even more expensive than this if you want. You can get a $5,000 pistol if you want. If you want to go to a Nighthawk Custom, and if you got $5,000 burning a hole in your pocket, by all means, get a Nighthawk Custom, a Wilson Combat, something like that. But you don't have to. So narrowing it down in terms of model, again, I'm not doing justice to this, but if I had to pick just a couple models of 9mm that I would go with in semi-automatic, it would be a Glock 19 or a Glock 17, Smith & Wesson M&P 9, or a Springfield XD9 in that order. Again, so many other great makes and models beyond the scope of this video. Other stuff you're going to need to get is ear and eye protection when you're shooting. Always got to wear it. You want to have a small gun safe. A Gun Vault or Bulldog makes safes that easily lock up, and they with a quick combination you can get to your gun easily. If the gun's not loaded, it might as well be on the moon. Okay, you're not going to be able to load it if you had a critical incident and you needed to use the firearm quickly. But the gun has to be kept locked up, and the ammo's got to be locked up too. You can't leave that stuff lying around. If anyone's in your house, especially kids, got to keep that stuff locked. In terms of ammunition, you need to get personal protection ammo and practice ammo. For personal protection ammo, that's the kind that you would actually use to keep loaded in your gun, but it's expensive. The reason it's personal protection ammo because it's got better terminal ballistics, so if it hits a human target, it tends to do more damage. It tends to not go through walls and have problems with over-penetration that you might have with range ammo. So Hornady Critical Duty is my personal choice, but Speer, Gold Dot, there's tons of others. Remington, Corbon, there's tons of other great choices out there. At a minimum, I'd keep 50 rounds of personal protection ammo and 300 rounds of just range ammo to practice with. And the range ammo, you can just go get whatever cheap ammo you want at the gun shop. If you've got semi-auto, I'd keep a few extra magazines. They're magazines, not clips. The magazines are the things that hold the bullet and go in the gun. Buy a few of those extra. Again, this is home defense, so you want to have a good flashlight with you. Surefire or Insight are probably one of the better manufacturers, but any well-made flashlight will work. And the reason you need that is if you ever did have to use your gun to defend yourself, you got to see what you're looking at. You can't go shooting into the dark or wondering what's there. It could be the neighbor, the neighbor's dog, your husband, your wife, whatever. You got to be able to identify targets. The other good thing is you got to have a good cell phone. Who knows? The power's out, the main phone line's down, something happens. First thing you do is you call 911 and you tell them what's going on. And you don't go searching for whatever the problem is. If you think there's a bump in the night and you think there's actually someone in your house, the worst thing you could do is go searching. Call 911, yell out that you fear for your life and you're prepared to defend yourself so 911 can hear it, and whoever is in your house that shouldn't be can hear it. Sit there and wait, let the pros do their job. When you're ready to make the final decision on all this stuff, whether it's ammunition, the firearm itself, the make, the model, revolver, whatever we went through here, go ahead and get on the internet and look at the blogosphere. There are tons of knowledgeable people, a lot more knowledgeable than I am, that have done detailed reviews on anything you're wanting to purchase, look at, buy. Spend the time doing that so you're happy with it. Go to a local gun shop, talk to the guys. They're far more knowledgeable than I am. They can, in some cases, you can rent the guns and try them before you shoot them. But they'll give you all the information you need. So again, make sure you follow the advice of safety, being legal, checking things out before you buy it. And again, apologies. I know I've missed probably a lot of great manufacturers of guns, ammo, lights, accessories, safes. There's a million other things, but I'm trying to make this simple for first-time buyers. I've been using this advice for about 10 years, and one of the reasons I started this channel is because I've had hundreds of people ask me this. So I wanted to get all my recommendations that I've gotten good feedback on, right, wrong, or indifferent, even though I am certainly not an expert. I've gotten a lot of positive feedback on this kind of information. So I wanted to codify it in a video, and I hope other people can find it useful. So I hope you find this video useful. That's about it for now. Hope you enjoyed the video. Always remember, think free.